You can't hear my typing, can you?
Just a little bit, but that's okay.
I'm sorry?
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 webinar. I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Gérard Metrailler, and I'm part of the product management team for CorelDRAW. I'm here with Roger Rumbold, who is going to be helping out capturing all the questions that you guys have and get them, try to help me answer them at the end of this webinar, as well as Cécile Boisus, the product marketing manager for CorelDRAW, who's helping out with the logistics. I'm really excited about the launch today of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, a fantastic new version, and hopefully we'll be convincing you as well in just a few minutes about how great this new version is and what is included. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website for future viewing. For those who could not join the live webinar and who are listening to the recorded version of the seminar, we've added additional seminars over the next couple of weeks to accommodate those who couldn't join, as well as those from other regions. I'll share a link later on where you can get them all and be able to access them so that you can join the one in your language. To ask questions, please use the GoToWebinar console on the right-hand side of your screen. Simply select the third panel from the bottom of the console and click the plus sign to reveal the question window. Then click in the questions field. We'll answer as many questions as possible at the end, and then additional answers on the web in the next few days. So without further delay, let me get started and provide you an insight of the brand new version CorelDRAW Graphics X6 that we launched and announced today. Before I go into the actual product demo, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about all of you and about the users of CorelDRAW so that you understand about you, but also about other users who use CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. Two big categories: the graphics professionals, either creative professionals, freelancers, sign makers, engravers, etc., or casual graphics users who use CorelDRAW Graphics Suite on an occasional basis in order to be able to create marketing collaterals, brochures, flyers, etc., and newsletters. What is very important throughout the development for CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, and X6 was no exception, is about your workflow and making sure that we deliver tools that enable you to work faster, more intuitively, and with better results. First of all, we have a series of new functionalities and tools that enable you to get and set up and start smoothly. From enabling you to import from previous projects, clip arts, getting stock photos, fonts, as well as some of the documents from your customers into CorelDRAW, we provide a very wide range of functionality on that side. It then goes down to designing with style and creativity. With CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, and you'll see it in a few minutes, we've added a lot of new features that enable you to be even more creative and have even more control over your designs. Finally, it comes down to outputting with confidence. Whether you print in-house on your laser printer or inkjet printer, or professionally, whether you do vinyl cutting, go to the web, generate PDFs, do laser engraving, direct-to-garment, or many other output possibilities, it is very important that you can trust CorelDRAW Graphics Suite and that you can do that with confidence. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6, a fantastic new release which is really your trusted partner when it comes to visual communications. It is a comprehensive suite that offers everything you need that is intuitive and easy to learn, yet provides all the advanced functionality of a complete graphics package. CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is available today as a trial download, and we will be starting shipping the boxes, as you can see here, early next week on March 27th in 7 languages. What's included with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6? CorelDRAW X6, our vector illustration and page layout application, as well as Corel Photo Paint X6, professional photo editing application. For the first time also we're including Corel Website Creator X6, a complete website authoring tool that enables you to create using templates or from a blank page fantastic looking websites for you and your customers. We also include Corel Connect X6 for finding the content you want to use in your designs, as well as Corel Power Trace and Corel Capture, power trace for bitmap to vector conversion and Corel Capture for screen captures. There's a lot more included in CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, including over 10,000 clip art, 1,000 high-resolution photos that are all new in this release, over 1,000 fonts, including new fonts of the Helvetica family, 2,000 vehicle templates, 350 design templates, 800 frames, and 2 hours of training video. But without further ado, let me talk to you a little bit more about CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. The first thing I want to talk to you is about what you get when you purchase CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. The CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 comes in a box which includes a full-color hardcover book with tutorials and inside that we call the guidebook. This is a really great piece of inspiration for everyone to be able to discover how other users use CorelDRAW, to learn about specific functionality in the product, get the basics about typography or color management, for example. Really a great book, 320 pages, full color hardcover book. So what's new in CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6? There is a lot in this release, and I just want to highlight here a few, starting from a brand new text engine that is included, as well as a very powerful style engine, being able to handle advanced layouts and multi-page layouts, and also a capability of running natively on 64-bit operating systems, as well as advanced multi-core support. I'll go into some of those in more details, and I'm only going to be able to scratch the surface of all the new things in CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. So much more in this release, but really here I want to give you a little bit of view into the top new things, and feel free to go and get the trial version of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 at corel.com/CorelDRAW. So without further ado, let me move into CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 and show you a little bit more about the new features. I mentioned before about the training videos. With CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6, we have over 2 hours of training video that comes with the product that you can access directly from an application, the Corel video browser that is included in the suite, or that you can also access on YouTube. We've posted them all there so that you can really watch them at your convenience wherever you are. Even if you don't yet have CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, you can learn a lot about the new features there. In addition to that, and something that is very hard to show really, is a 64-bit version. CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 in the box is available in both 32-bit and 64-bit versions, and we have also advanced multi-core support. You can only see here at the top of the window that it tells you you have the 64-bit version if that's the case. But from a user experience, you will really see no differences between the 32-bit and the 64-bit version. We really have a fantastic release where all the functionality you have in one version is also available in the other. From a performance improvements, we see really performances happening all over the place, and we really spend a lot of time, the development team at Corel has spent an awful lot of time on performance improvements. And we really see performances of up to 50% in certain cases. Across the board, we not only focused on specific performance improvement when it comes to specific filters, but more importantly on the day-to-day basis. For example, if I do a save of this document, historically the application would have temporarily stopped, but what is happening now is that we have background saving happening in here, and I can continue working while the application saves. Same with cut and paste, etc. So when you do an autosave feature and leave the autosave feature on and work on a very large document, it will automatically happen in the background without you even noticing the autosave happening. Corel Connect. Let me open Corel Connect. I'm going to start the application versus starting the inline version of Corel Connect. Corel Connect is our great application that comes with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite to search for the content that comes with the suite, as well as content that is online through Flickr, Fotolia, or iStock Photo, as well as searching your local hard drive and your local network for content. In this case here, let me do a quick search for the keyword tiger. All the content that comes with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite is indexed and has metadata so that you can actually search for content across this, and it's also in all the languages that CorelDRAW comes with, which means you can search in your own language for the word tiger, for example. I can simply drag and drop the content I want to use into my tray. Let's say I also want to use this photo here. I'm going to put it here. And I also did at the same time a search in Fotolia and really want to use this white tiger here from Fotolia. One of the great new things in Corel Connect X6 is the capability of having multiple trays. Many of you work on multiple projects simultaneously for different customers, and this is why we wanted to really provide you the capability of handling multiple trade. Let me take here pizza restaurant, for example, a tray about pizza, and I'm going to look for a cook. Let's see what we have here. I'll do a search in German for those on the line who come from German. You'll see that you can actually also search for the keyword in German. Here's, for example, a clip art that comes with the product, as well as a pizza that I can use later. So you can really very quickly search for different things here. And let's say I also want to do a search online on the web. Some of you sometimes get the request from your customers saying, yeah, just grab that graphic from my website. You can then use it for your designs. Well, you can do that now. I'm just going to type CorelDRAW.com, our community site, which is a free access for everybody. And I can come and pick the graphic that I want to use and put it in a tray, or this little icon here and put it in a tray as well. What is happening now is that those trays are automatically synchronized with CorelDRAW, and I can now, within CorelDRAW, call up my tray docker here, and you will see that they show up directly here with the tabs, and I can very quickly drag and drop content into my graphic design that I'm working on. I'll come back to this in just a few seconds. Let me just close it for now and show you more. When it comes down to working with graphic designs, we really wanted to provide you new tools to work even faster and more efficiently. What we've seen in the trend in the graphic design these days is really this organic feel to designs that we see happen. And we've introduced 4 new tools: the smear tool, the twirl tool, the attract, as well as the repel tool. Let me start with the twirl tool. It's a little bit smaller. I can just start clicking here, and you'll see the twirl is happening very quickly. I can choose another tool like the smear tool. I want this to be a little bit smaller, 50. And I can just come and smear it very quickly, easily like this, bring it in. Sorry, let's take it again. The smear tool, bring it in very quickly, and I can very quickly create some interesting shapes out of the boxes I had here. I can also, for example, use my attract to attract those 2 objects together, or my repel tool to repel those 2 objects, one against the other. It enables you to really create some interesting designs very quickly. Let me just take an example here off a blank page and call up the graphic I had a minute ago from my tray docker, the graphic I found from my pizza restaurant. This clip art here, I'm just going to drag and drop it into CorelDRAW, make it slightly bigger, and now take my smear tool, for example. I can now, for example, get this gentleman to lose perhaps a little bit of his weight, very quickly by changing the pixel like that, or change his face position. And you can see how this enables you to control many nodes in a graphic design with very little click and full detailed attention. Corel Photo Paint X6 has also received a big update with CorelDRAW Graphics X6. We now support the latest camera raw file formats, and have added many new features when it comes down to smart carver, clip masks, and non-destructive photo editing. Let me just select this image here and select Edit Bitmap. This is automatically going to open Corel Photo Paint X6 for me, and here in Photo Paint I can now come into the Smart Carver tool. And from the Smart Carver tool, let's zoom in just a little bit, I can select this tree very quickly with an outline, delete the inside, just mark the inside that I don't want, like this, and just say take the tree out. Now I'm not going to spend the time here to take all the shadow away, but I just wanted to show you very quickly how easy it goes. In addition to that, we have a lot of new non-destructive editing capabilities with pass-through modes, with clip masks, etc. I'm not going to spend much more time in this release, in this webinar to show you this. But for those who are advanced photo paint users, you will discover a lot of new functionality. And quite a lot of the things I'm going to show you in the next few minutes in CorelDRAW have also been implemented in Corel Photo Paint. One of them is the new Object Docker, Object Properties Docker. I'm going to open it here, and you can see that this is going to become your one place to get all the properties for an object. If I select this, I can see the color. I can very quickly change the color if I want, and I can also choose to change the width of the outline. I can go to the selection properties. If I now have text, I have now access here to all my text controls, and I can very quickly also change the font of this or the size of this to 72 pixels. Everything comes in, the paragraph information, etc. Everything in one central place to enable you to get full control over your graphic and your designs. Really a fantastic time saver. You no longer have to go and search for different things in different places. The other part where we spent a lot of attention and focus with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 has been around multi-page layouts. And in order to show you that, I'm actually going to open up a new document and create a new white page document and start defining some text. So let's say I want to have here a text frame on the side. And I'm going to go rather quickly, so for those of you who are doing layout for a day-to-day job, you'll look at it and say it is a little bit fast on the way you do it, but I want to give you the idea of how it works. I'm going to make sure that the alignment guide, which is a new feature, is turned on in CorelDRAW X6. And now I can take a box here, and you might be able to see the little dotted lines here at the very top. I can come here, and you'll see as well the little dotted lines. I can grab it here in the middle and make sure I'm fully aligned. And perhaps I can add another text box here at the bottom that is aligned between both, aligned here, just by drag and dropping it. Another thing that we've seen many of you do all the time is defining and adding placeholder text until you have the final text in your designs. Well, we've just added this here as a function. Just right-click and select Insert Placeholder Text, and this will add all the lorem ipsum text for you in one mouse click. You don't need to really go and find out where that placeholder text is, copy it, pasting it, etc. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see it better going forward. So let's make it 18 points. Same here, just very quickly inserting placeholder text. There we go. And same thing here. I'm just going to make it 18 points so you can see it well. The other thing that we're introducing is a completely revamped power clip functionality. I have a frame here, a box that I want to use, or any shape that I want to use for a power clip. And I can now just right-click on it and define this frame as an empty power clip frame. This enables me to really go and very quickly add content to that power clip. Let me reopen my Docker, my tray Docker that I had before, and take my tiger. Let's take this tiger here. I'm just going to drag and drop it over here. And as you can see, as soon as I get over the power clip frame that I have here, I can just let go inside, and my tiger has been inserted inside the power clip. And I also have direct access to the power clip functions here. I could, for example, fit the frame proportionally so that the tiger fits in, but I can still very quickly come to edit my tiger or my power clip here. Let's move it just slightly and come back out of the power clip editing mode in very little clicks. Another new thing that we've done around page layout is the capability of having page numbering. Let me show you how easy it is to do that. I'm going to insert a page number either on all pages or, on all odd pages, which means you can very quickly create brochures and flyers which always have the page number on the outside of the page, for example. So let me do this. I want a page number here that I'm going to put on the side here, and then on the even pages, I'm going to add a page number here. This one is going to be a lot bigger just for the fun of it. And as I add pages, you will see that the page numbers is happening automatically. Another very important thing when it comes to page layout is to make sure that the text and the text in both text frames are aligned. Right now, they're not 100% aligned. They're pretty close, but they're not. What I can do now is turn on what we call the baseline grid. And you'll see here at the bottom of my document, I'll zoom out just a little bit, you'll see at the back of my document I now have a baseline grid that I can use as a reference for the layout and making sure that it's all linked up. Coming here, I can just come and turn on the linking and the alignment to the baseline grid. And you can see that my text is now perfectly aligned to that baseline grid. Doing the same here. Let's zoom in. It is aligned to the baseline grid. Let me perhaps just I'll take this, move it slightly up. And you can now see that those are perfectly aligned and together and will remain that way throughout the document that you create. Really, really powerful tools that enable you to create page layouts and multi-page documents such as brochures, newsletters, flyers, etc. in very little time and with even more precision and quality than you could ever before. CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is now really becoming a fantastic package when it comes to creating 16 to 32 pages brochures, which could have been a little bit more difficult in the past. The other part I wanted to talk to you about today is our brand new text engine. We've basically rewritten the entire text engine with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite to enable our users to access the advanced OpenType functionality included with fonts. In this case, I'm going to use the Gabriolo font, which is included with Windows Vista and Windows 7, and I'm going to show you some of the functionality. When I select my text here, I can, for example, very quickly turn on or turn off ligatures, which is really a ligature, for those who don't know, is, and let me show you the difference here. Perhaps I'll zoom in, you'll see what happens, is the fact that the two letters here, TT, have only one line between. If I turn on ligatures, they will not be linked. If I turn off ligatures, sorry, they will not be linked. If I turn them on, they will be linked. But even more important is the capability of having the style and stylistic sets of the font available. I can choose a stylistic set and apply it here, but this is perhaps not the most intuitive way of doing it. So let me just select my text here, and you can see a little triangle here telling me there is more options. I can choose the different stylistic set I want to use. Let's take this one, for example, and there you go. This is information that's stored within the font and enables me to really do some advanced typography here. What's even more powerful is, let me type the same text, and you will see the text and the Y changing depending on the font I'm using and the characters I have before and after. A very, very powerful tool when it comes to advanced typography. I'm really excited about this. Another major upgrade part of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is our brand new style engine. We have completely redesigned our style engine to enable our users to really take full control of multi-page layouts and creations and be able to very quickly react to changes in design, in styles, in font, etc., etc. Let me select these different numbers here, and I'm going to create a new style set. Just drag and dropping this over here, and this is going to create a new style set for me. WebEx seems to have or the GoToWebinar seems to have some side effects on the refresh of the screen. Sorry for that. Let me zoom in a little bit here, and we'll see it better. That's much better. I've just created a style set here, which really enables me to define the styles for characters, paragraphs, frames, outline, or fills. I could define specific styles for one specific feature, or again, a style set that includes multiple of those things into one style. Here, for example, I could very quickly change the font as well as the size, and everything will change in real time in the graphic. Even more importantly, I can create sub-styles to a style set. For example, here I want to be able to change the character information, and let's say I want to change the color. Now, to apply to a style, I can take this and just drag and drop it over the object I want to have. Just for example, every number here, every other number here. If I change something on my style set, again, everything will still change as it did before, but if I change on the sub-style set and make it yellow just because I can, you will see that only those sub-styles have the change happen. Think of it, for those who know about it, very similar to what you do in web and HTML development with cascading style sheets with CSS. When we talk about style in graphics, another very important part is what we call color styles and color harmonies. And by the way, all the graphics I'm showing you here were designed by one of our users and who submitted a complete guidebook for this soccer football club in Mexico, and we use them here with his express authorization. It's an amazing piece of work that he submitted. Let me select this whole graphic here, and let me create color styles for this. I'm going to go down to only two groups of colors, the black and white and the colors. And I can now very quickly select the color set that I have just created here and be able to change the harmony of that color. What you would normally do is just pick one of the colors and change it slightly, and you can see there is some slight changes here on the side. I'm not sure how well this shows up with the GoToWebinar, so I'm going to do something that I should not do with this design. I'm going to really mess it up. Let's go 100%, 180 degrees off, and here you go. Very quickly, you can really do big things. Now again, this is not what you would normally do. You would pick one color, change it, or pick them all and do very subtle adjustments, perhaps a little lighter or a little darker, for example, but not very drastic changes. What I can now do is create new objects, and I can very quickly assign colors to those. So here, for example, all the colors that have the little triangle tell me that those it's a style and not a color itself. So I could very quickly drag and drop this color here, this color there, and now if I select all my colors again and change them to the original setting, you will see that those graphics change as well, and everything follows the same effect and setting at the same time. Very powerful tool. Think of it this way: if you create a header and footer and your customer comes back and tells you, oh yes, well everything is different and no, I'm not using green anymore but blue, it will take you only a few seconds to change to the new color your customer wants, and they'll have to rechange everything through all the pages you've created. CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is also very well known for its import and export capabilities. We continue to have over 100 import-export filters with the support for the major formats such as PSD, AI, PDF up to the current latest versions, as well as EPS Level 3, DXF 2012, Microsoft Publisher 2010, etc., etc. So a lot of file formats are supported. We also know from many of you that being able to go and output to a large format printer is very important. Being able to do direct-to-garment is very important, and we make sure that we work very well with the different hardware manufacturers and provide them support to what they need. For example, with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, for those who use large format printers, we have different palettes that we include, color palettes. For example, we include the Pantone palettes, we include different other palettes, like here for the sign makers and the large format printers. We also have the Roland color palettes directly built in, including the cut contour lines and things like that that you can very quickly use out of CorelDRAW without any extra additional installation. As I mentioned earlier, brand new in CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is Website Creator, a complete website authoring tool that enables you to create and manage one or multiple sites. If you or your customers need to get a website created, this enables anybody who can use an Office productivity application as well as CorelDRAW to create websites without the specific knowledge of HTML code. Very important tool. We know that many of you, when you're in a freelance agent or even a sign maker, engraver, etc., quite often get the request from your customers about creating a website. Well, this will enable you to create websites for your customers as well. From a systems requirement, CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is compatible with Windows XP and up to version Windows 7. Right now, I know I will get the question shortly, so I'll preempt it, about Windows 8. Today, we're not officially supporting Windows 8 as it hasn't been released yet by Microsoft officially, but we are committed to making CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 fully compatible with Windows 8 when Microsoft releases that new version of the operating system. So for those who purchase CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 today, rest assured that it will be compatible with Windows 8 when it comes out. Another very important point for Corel is to make sure that we do not require that you create or that you buy new hardware when a new release of CorelDRAW comes out. And our system requirements, minimum system requirements, continue to be an Intel Pentium 4 or later processor, 1 GB of RAM and 1.5 GB of hard disk. Now, 1 GB of RAM might be a little light if you're doing heavy-duty graphic designs, but any computer that is 4 or 5 year old should work great for CorelDRAW Graphics Suite for a normal, moderated, or normal use. Today we announced CorelDRAW Graphics Suite in English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, and Dutch. The trial version is available as of today, and you can also purchase the electronic software download version as of today. You can also pre-order the box of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite that will be starting to ship on March 27th, a week from now, and we're really excited about this. In addition to that, the upgrade eligibility of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 enables anybody with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X4 or X5 to upgrade to CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6. For a limited time period, we will allow any CorelDRAW user to upgrade to CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6. Actually, it's for the next 90 days. Anybody who has a CorelDRAW Graphics Suite 1.0 or later will be eligible to upgrade to CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6. In 90 days' time, the upgrade eligibility is going to be only from version X4 or X5 of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. I'm going to come back to a few more examples in a minute, but just wanted to summarize CorelDRAW Graphics Suite and go through a first round of questions to see if there is anything there. But CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 is really a complete and professional graphics design software suite. The brand new typography engine is very, very powerful, enables you to really take your designs and your text to a whole new level. Our content organizer, Corel Connect, has now support for multiple trays so that you can really organize your different contents that you're searching and searches for content based on the different customers and different projects you work on. Our new document styles and custom build color harmonies is very powerful. Again, as I showed you earlier, you can really do a lot of things with that. In addition to that, just as I remind myself, you can also export and import those style sheets and the style information, which means if you're working on a project for one customer and want to define a style for this user, just create it once, export it. In the next document you create, just import that style, and automatically you can use the same styles for that user. This is also true for when it comes to color styles. The new website design software enables you to bring graphics you create with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 to a whole new level, the web, and also enables you to provide and answer solutions to your customers. We continue to have market-leading file compatibility, as I said earlier, over 100 import-export filters, and we support the latest and current file formats from the different other software vendors that are mostly used. The new drawing tools, such as the twirl tool, the attract and repel tool, etc., are very, very powerful and enable you to really create and have fun creating new graphics in a completely new way. A lot of learning materials with over 2 hours of training video. You have a lot of information there. And we also, one thing I forgot to mention, in our hint stalker, we also have some training videos built in. So our hint stalker will show you indications on how CorelDRAW or that specific feature that you've selected, like the rectangle tool, works. But we've also added some training videos here that enable you to very quickly see how a specific function is used and created in a visual way. We've optimized CorelDRAW Graphics Suite for speed through usage of 64-bit and multi-core support. We still, and we will continue to have a 32-bit version. So for those of you who have a 32-bit operating system, or if you're unsure, go with the 32-bit version. But if you have a 64-bit version of Windows Vista or Windows 7, you'll be able to use the full power of the machine through the 64-bit version of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite. And finally, powerful photo editing functionality. We now also have really advanced non-destructive editing capabilities with clip masks and pass-through functionality. If time permits, I'll be happy to show you a little bit more in that area, but I just wanted to quickly go through the highlights and open it up for the questions. So let me start by looking. Roger, any big questions happening at this stage? Hello? Okay.
Gerard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Thank you. Oh, that was excellent. Yes, I've got a couple of questions here. I've switched to Mac. Is CorelDRAW available for that system?
So today, CorelDRAW Graphics Suite is a Windows application. We know that we have about 5% or so of our users who use it on a Macintosh hardware, on an Apple hardware. And we're fully compatible with the Apple hardware. We're just not made for Mac OS. So you can use CorelDRAW Graphics Suite on a Mac using either a virtual machine such as Parallels of VMware, or using it with the solution that that Apple offers called Boot Camp that comes with the operating system that enables you to run Mac OS and Windows side by side. And CorelDRAW has been tested and will work great on a Mac, computer hardware, from our Corel perspective, we're compatible with Windows, and any machine and any hardware that is running Windows will run CorelDRAW Graphics Suite just fine.
Excellent. We've got one from David here. Show me the new trays. Thank you. So I suspect he's looking to see the new trays within Corel Connect.
So, okay, no problem. Let me open Corel Connect here. So we have multiple trays here capability. As I was mentioning here before, we can see them. Can you all see them on the screen? I hope that
yes, we can.
See them just right. Okay. So you have multiple trays here. You can also access open existing trays that you have perhaps saved. You can delete existing trays. You can very quickly create a new tray for a new project. Let's be creative in naming my project here today. Just very quickly create a new tray, and that tray is automatically synchronized in CorelDRAW, in the CorelDRAW Docker here at the bottom. I have my CorelDRAW tray, which obviously is empty. Which brings me to another point, and let me very quickly show you. Earlier on, I put a Fotolia image here into the tray. So what is happening here is I'm actually not putting the image that you can purchase on Fotolia, but only the comp source from Fotolia, and I can drag and drop it. Obviously, it will notify me that there might be some copyright restrictions before using this image because I haven't purchased it yet. But I can now really prepare it, put it in the graphic as I want. You can see that it is here with the watermark from Fotolia. But if I come back, sorry, and right-click on it, I have the capability here of opening the comp source. This will open the Fotolia website for me. Just 1 second. It's going to open. Hopefully my internet connection is used by GoToMeeting right now, but here we go. It goes directly to the right Fotolia page with the tiger. I can add it to my cart, purchase it, just go through the transaction, and once I'm done with this, I come back to CorelDRAW, right-click on it, and say Replace Comp. It will ask me where did I save that file, and I can just quickly select that file, say OK, import, and CorelDRAW will automatically replace that file with the actual full resolution that I purchased. Same thing with the web graphics I showed you earlier. This is an image that I grabbed from CorelDRAW.com, and I can just drag and drop it into my design. And again here, it will warn you that there might be copyright restrictions, which is absolutely normal because I do not own the copyrights. But if one of your customers comes and says, can you please get the logo from our website, it is very, very easy to do.
Okay, Scott's asking, I just upgraded from X5 a month ago. Are there any upgrade tiers or recent upgraders for recent upgraders?
Yeah, absolutely. If you purchased CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X5 within the last 30 days, please contact the customer service team, and we have a way for to get you an upgrade to X6 at minimum cost if you again purchased the product within the last 30 days.
And on that same note, what about student versions of X5 for upgrading to X6?
Yeah. Education editions are not eligible for upgrade pricing, but we have, for those of you who are students and have an X5 student version or an education edition of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X5, we also launched today the education edition of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6, so you can go back to your vendor who sells education edition and go and get it there. But an education edition is not eligible for an upgrade.
Okay. Now there was another question, a couple of questions regarding 32-bit versus 64-bit, and Gerard, if you have no objections, I'll handle that as well, just to make sure I cover all the information, be quicker and easier. The product is shipping within the box itself with both 32 and 64-bit. The 64-bit version, of course, will not work on a 32-bit system. The download version, if you do purchase an ESD version, when you get your order, there will be 2 links there. One to download either the 32-bit version and an additional link to download the 64-bit version. Gerard, correct me if I misspoke there at all.
No, that's about right. The other thing I'll add to that is that while you cannot run a 64-bit version or a 32-bit version of the operating system, you can run a 32-bit version of CorelDRAW on a 64-bit version of the operating system. So
correct.
On the 64-bit you can choose, on a 64-bit version of Windows, you can choose 32 or 64-bit version of CorelDRAW Graphics Suite, up to your choice.
Okay.
It's getting confusing with that many 32 and 64 bits. Very sorry everyone for the confusion.
Does CorelDRAW support all customized and integrated macros?
We fully support macros, and with CorelDRAW, both 32 and 64-bit, we have fully integrated both Visual Basic for applications as well as Visual Studio for applications. So you can choose the programming language you want to use if you prefer Visual Basic or .NET, C#, VB.NET, etc. You can really choose that. And also, we're really excited. CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X64-bit is one of the very first, or I believe it's the first application out there that has full Visual Basic 64-bit support. So just like on the 32-bit on the previous versions, you can come in Tools, Macros, choose your macro editor, for example, and we've included Visual Basic for applications version 7.1 here to run all your macros, as well as Visual Studio for applications 2.0 to run all your macros.
Okay. Can you insert a date just as you can pages?
No, not at this stage. Dates not automatically, no.
Okay.
Don't think so.
All right. I've turned all my artwork into vector graphics. What improvements are there in PowerTrace?
PowerTrace, we've made some small improvements in performance and also in the quality of the graphics and the generation. So I would recommend to give it a try and see if those improvements are visible for your graphics. There were some specific cases where we had some examples of problems, and they were definitely addressed. So the quality and the performance also should have been improved.
Okay. Does CorelDRAW X6 include vector feathering or embossing type features?
Roger, do you have an idea? Can you?
I
believe it does.
Well, I mean,
some of it, but not directly. Yeah.
Drop shadow type features would allow you to feather it, and depending on the opacity of that. But other than that, I'm not sure how we could do that with vector objects.
Yeah, feathering vector objects is perhaps an interesting one. You can apply effects and filters and things like that, but on vector, I'm not sure how you would feather a vector as it's a calculated line, so I'm not sure about how to best answer that one.
Okay, here's a good one. What features are there for master pages, or can I place a single graphic and have it echoed on other pages or places?
Absolutely, a master page. Let me go back to the document I created earlier here with multiple pages. In the object manager at the bottom, we have multiple master pages, and right now we have multiple layers, for example, for odd pages. So if you create a brochure that has a page number and you also want to have a header footer that is specific for even and odd pages, for example, I can here create a layer 1 for my odd pages, and you'll see my page number is actually in that. But I can, let's say I want to have my tiger on every single page. So let me just move this into my layer here, and now automatically every single odd page has this in the template automatically. So I don't need to think about this. I could also then very quickly create here a new master layer for all pages or a new master layer for even pages so that I can really continue to have. So if I wanted my tiger everywhere, let me just go back one step here. I'm going to open this again, take my power clip, put it on all pages, master page, and automatically that template has the graphic on every single page.
All right, did you flag the 3?
Just one.
Any other question right now, Roger? Or?
My apologies for that. I didn't realize my microphone was live. Yes, there's a couple of questions here regarding PowerTrace. And second here. Yeah, are there any changes to PowerTrace from CorelDRAW X5?
As I mentioned briefly, we have done some improvements to PowerTrace. It wasn't a major area of focus like the text engine or style engine, for example. So compared to X5, there's some minor improvements. We did a lot in X5 to improve it compared to X4, for example. As I would recommend is get the trial and try it on the specific file you have in mind. We've certainly done a few things there, so give it a try with your documents. The trial is free for 30 days. And the other thing I'll just mention on the trial is that once the 30 days are over, we're actually converting the trial into a viewer. That means you can continue to keep that expired trial on your system, and you'll still be able to view CorelDRAW documents.
Okay. How does CorelDRAW handle copyright data embedding like EXIF?
In which sense? Copyright data embedded in the EXIF data, so in the photos or things like that?
Correct,
We
yes.
will normally maintain it. So if you open it, a photo in PhotoPaint that has EXIF data and you save it back, we will maintain that copyright data in the EXIF data. We're not going to change that on the fly for you. We want to make sure that that is maintained for the user. Those are visible in the object properties. Let me just open a graphic in PhotoPaint. But we will maintain that information throughout the workflow. Any other question?
Yes. Does the new Corel Connect support EPS files?
Corel Connect supports EPS files now. We will not render the thumbnails of the EPS file, but you can search for EPS file if they have been tagged. You can actually search for many more file formats and information. You can specify if you want to search for folder names, for vector files, for bitmaps, for fonts, and for any file in your system. So I can actually search for some of the fonts that come with CorelDRAW or with other files EPS. Now we're not going to do the rendering of the thumbnail for EPS files, but you'll definitely be able to search. And on the subject of Corel Connect here, just another little trick here. You can now go into, if I go into Configure Content Libraries, into the option of Corel Connect, I have the capability of specifying where my default tray location is. For those of you who use an online file sharing tools such as Dropbox, Box.net, etc., you can actually put your default tray location onto inside your Dropbox folder, for example, and then if you have a second computer, a laptop, and your main computer desktop, you can then basically point to the same place, and they get synced automatically with Dropbox, and automatically your trays get replicated across all the different computers you have. So it's a really cool way of maintaining multiple machines in sync from a trace perspective.
That is cool. While you're showing little tips and tricks here, Gerard, can you go back to your color harmonies slide, please?
Yes.
We've got a question here as to whether or not you can cut directly from CorelDRAW. And one thing that we can do in CorelDRAW is if you have created a color harmony, you can select, for example, if you look at your harmonies, you have 4 different shades of orange there. You can select 2 of those orange shades and then merge those colors together, effectively reducing the number of colors in the image. And then from the upper right-hand corner, just to the right of color style 15, if you select the drop-down, you can actually convert those to spot colors. Now, it's not Pantone spot colors, but they will separate onto separate plates. So very quickly and very easily, you can take a multicolor document, reduce it down to common colors, and then separate those out. Very, very effective for screen printers as well as vinyl cutters. So yes, you certainly can cut directly from CorelDRAW.
Thanks, Roger, for adding that. Perhaps one more question, and then we'll conclude for today, or at least for this session.
Oh, is there a way to make line fonts for engravers or engraver fonts?
So if you have engraver fonts and you can use them in CorelDRAW, what you can also do is take a font, convert to curve, and then take the inside, I would say. Roger, do you have other thoughts on this one?
No, unfortunately I don't.
I would say you can actually create fonts with CorelDRAW as well. So if you really want to, you can create a font from scratch.
Yeah, we do have the ability to export as a TTF file.
Absolutely.
Centerline trace, I'm not sure how effective that would be.
Might work, yeah, might work. But I would say you can definitely, just with a little anecdote here, with CorelDRAW Graphics Deck 6, one of the font we're including, which is called American Captain, I believe, was actually completely designed in CorelDRAW, which is really cool and has advanced open typography functionality built in. So have a look at that font. It gives you, oh, that's not good. It gives you a good example of what can be done with CorelDRAW. Okay, a few other comments now just to conclude this session from my side, and thank you very much. I could have shown you another 50 things across CorelDRAW, Corel PhotoPaint, Corel Connect, but wanted to really give you just a quick highlight and recommend that everybody goes and gives a try for themselves. The trial is available as of today at corel.com/CorelDRAW. Just go there and you'll have it in your language. It goes automatically to the right side on your language. In addition to that, we have additional webinars available. Okay. In addition to that, we have a lot more webinars coming in multiple languages. One of them, let me just go here. CorelDRAW. I've posted it in my blog a few weeks, last week. So if you want to go there, blog/Gerard, and then it's this second one. We have a list of all the webinars in all the languages available there with the different dates. So you can see here the upcoming webinars in English if you missed this one, or you want to see it in German, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese, etc. They're all listed there. I've been told that there is a little bit more time for some more questions. So Roger, is there anything else you wanted to? Is there anything else in the discussion going on?
Adrian posted a response, I guess, to the feathering of vector objects. And I'll just read that response if I may. There's a workaround for vector feathering. The user has to break apart the drop shadow and work with that. So I guess that's basically what I was alluding to, is drop shadow.
Yeah. So let me perhaps show a little bit more in PhotoPaint. I know I haven't spent a lot of time in PhotoPaint today, and I'm going to perhaps take a few more minutes and showing you a few more things in PhotoPaint here. Let me just zoom in. What I'm going to do here is show you a little bit more of the new non-destructive editing capabilities that we have in Corel PhotoPaint. I'm just going to copy this object and create a new object out of it. And what I want to do is use this and mask this to be able to create some really cool effects. Non-destructive editing is very important when you create graphics, so that you make sure that the original image, the background, is not changed while you work on top of it and apply effects to it. So let me just for the fun of it, create a simple shape here. And what I'm going to do is create a mask from that object, just so that I have a square mask here. And I'm going to apply that mask as a clip mask from mask. So I'm going to apply that to my photo here and make sure that I only work with this. What I can now do very quickly is, using a drop shadow in Corel PhotoPaint, drag and drop it here. And let's just make sure that I'm doing it as a middle one, and perhaps a little bit stronger here, like a 60. And I can start seeing that drop shadow appearing on my object. It gives me this window into the real life. I can also now perhaps add a lens to my graphic. Let's say I want to have a grayscale lens. I can obviously tweak and change everything. I'm just going to leave it with standards. And let's perhaps delete this layer here, and perhaps add some text. As I mentioned before, the full text engine that I showed you in CorelDRAW Graphics Suite is now also included in that I showed you in CorelDRAW X6 is also included in Corel PhotoPaint X6. So let's just go to perhaps 72 points, and again here I can come and select my stylistic sets, apply them, do the changes I want to my graphic. Just take my text here, and if I come back to my objects Docker, I can now start grouping things together. Let's just group them into one group. You can also, by the way, make your thumbnails bigger so you can actually see it in a big way what it is. But what you can also do is, as you can see, my lens with my transparency lens, my grayscale lens, is actually inside the group now. And I can now also select if I want this normal, i.e. what happens in the group stays in the group, or if I want to do a pass-through, which means the last effect here and everything that happens here is also passed beyond to what's happening below on the other objects below. So it enables you to really do some really cool non-destructive editing. I can then turn it on, turn it off very quickly, turn it on, turn it off this way very quickly, and come back to the different effects I had originally. Any other question at this stage, Roger?
There's one here. I have platinum support. How do I get an upgrade?
You will get notified shortly, or else you can contact the customer service team, and then they'll arrange for you to get a copy of CorelDRAW Graphics. I believe there is an electronic mailing coming out to all the platinum support members in the next few days. Rogers, you're more involved with that, so I believe that's the case, isn't it?
Yeah, they are working sending those out. They should be out within the week.
Okay.
Two questions. I was really hoping to see 3D painting in PhotoPaint like Adobe offers. Are there any plans for this in the future?
Now, it's not an area that we've implemented with CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6. We're always looking at what matters and what is most important for our users, and it's definitely an area we're looking at. I think a lot of the work on the painting side, on the pure painting side, is done by our colleagues on the Painter team, and Painter 12 is an amazing product that I would highly recommend you have a look at. And I know that they're also looking for a few tricks up their sleeves for future versions. So check out Painter 12 as well. If you're really into advanced painting, Painter is the most advanced and painting application on the computer.
Okay. I have X4 and X5 loaded. If I load the trial, will it affect the other two versions?
It will not. No, you can have, we've tested for currency, so you can run CorelDRAW X4 and X5 and X6 on the same system. We even support the capability of having both the 32 and 64-bit version of CorelDRAW X6 installed on the same system.
What is the difference between X6 and Premium Suite X5 for the website creator?
So very quick, just to expand on that, my answer. With CorelDRAW X5, we had the CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X5, which was really comprised of CorelDRAW, Corel PhotoPaint, and Corel Connect plus additional tools. And we also had the CorelDRAW Premium Suite X5, which included CorelDRAW, Corel PhotoPaint, Corel Connect, and those tools. Plus, it had Website Creator X5 and Video Studio X3, I believe, and a few other applications. Corel Website Creator X6 is the next version after Website Creator X5. So it's really new features, new functionalities. We've enhanced some of the functionality based on user feedback and improved things based on what we've learned from there. For those who wonder if they should wait for a premium suite, Corel will not be launching a CorelDRAW Premium Suite X6. So we've decided to bring Website Creator, which was the most important product part of the Premium Suite, to everybody who gets the CorelDRAW Graphics Suite.
Okay, the icons at the Website Creator look a lot like the NetObjects Fusion. Is that the engine? And if yes, can it open NOF files? I believe we mean NOD files. Yes. The answer to that, I believe, is yes.
Yes, so our Website Creator is being developed in partnership with NetObjects, and it is based on NetObject Fusion. It is actually, I believe, version 12.5, so a version a little bit after the one that they have currently, that they've developed and we've custom developed for Corel. But yes, you can open the NOD files and continue from there.
Okay. In large documents, is there indexing functionality?
I'm not sure I understand the question. All the information in large documents, when you save the document, we will actually save as metadata all the content of that document. A lot of information is saved. Let me take here, for example, the document properties of here. Here's all the information that the operating system can search upon. How many pages, how many layers, what is the type of paper, what's the color mode, how many graphics, how many objects, also what fonts are used inside, what bitmaps are embedded, etc., etc. So you can really search all this. And I believe we're also making the text available for Windows to index, so that you can actually search for the text inside the CorelDRAW document using Corel Connect or just the Windows Explorer.
Okay. Have any changes been made to X5 color management?
We've taken the CorelDRAW X5 color management with the latest iteration, Service Pack 3, and fine-tuned a few things here and there, but the color management, the system itself, it remains really overall the same compared to X5, and we've just tweaked it slightly based on user feedback.
Okay, I have X5 workspace created. Can it be loaded into X6?
You should be able to import workspaces into CorelDRAW. So if you have a workspace from an older version, you can come and import or export. So I could, for example, import a workspace from an older version here, and it will enable you to customize that workspace. The only comment I would say is be careful, because if there is a new tool like the smear tool or the twirl tool that I showed you earlier, they might not be in your older workspace, i.e. you will have to put them back in by hand. So one little trick here, what you could do is come into the Help menu, highlight what's new since version X5, make a mental note of all the new features that have been introduced in this release, and so that when you import your old workspace, you can actually just add them back into where you want them to be in your new workspace for X6. One final question?
One final question, and let me just see if I can find a good one for you.
Oh, no, please, be nice.
Here we go. Are there any added features for working with spot colors, such as blends and outputting?
Oh, Roger, you'll need to help me on that one. I don't think so. Not in this release.
No, not in this release. In X5, of course, we have the functionality there as well, where you can actually create blends with spot colors, and they will output on the separate plates. So, I mean, other than that, there's nothing new that's been added that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay, well, again, thank you very much, everybody, for joining this this very first webinar about CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6. I believe for those who missed a little part of this one or who want to see this again, first of all, we will be posting the recorded version of this webinar on the web shortly. Just go back to the link you had and you'll be able to review that. It will take us, I would say, a day or two until it's live, but it will be there shortly. And Roger, I believe you're hosting another similar webinar to this afternoon.
Yes, I am.
You might be presenting some other interesting things there. So if you want to join and see it again or see it presented differently, feel free to do so.
Excellent.
Anything else to add, Roger?
No, I think that's great. A lot of great information there, and I think I've been working on the application for quite some time, and it's really very, very impressed with what I'm seeing, and it'll be a lot of fun for all those who go out and get it.
Yeah, and we really spend also a lot of time on quality and on stability. So I really I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the community and getting your feedback there and understanding where we can go next. And really, a lot of the things you're seeing here is based on direct feedback from everyone. We are really spending a lot of time in the CorelDRAW.com community to listen to your feedback and to understand what you need and how we can make CorelDRAW Graphics Suite an even better product for your work, your enjoyment, and for going forward. So once again, thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. It's been a pleasure presenting CorelDRAW Graphics Suite X6 to all of you, and I'm hoping to hear from you pretty soon on the CorelDRAW community or in other places online. Thank you.